long-form, open discussion podcast. Topics include sensitive issues such as sex, religion, politics, race, gender, death, BDSM, MFM, CFNM, MMF, MMFM, and healthcare. Do not try this at home.
Get your motherfucking ass up when I'm talking.
So hold on tight. The action starts now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
And here we go.
Ago, we are live on the air, second week in a row, because we've had a stumble in the past month where we've kind of gone bi-weekly, because I'm a bi person. But now we're back to consecutive Sundays, so people can start their week off with the Repeat Offender podcast. Yeah. I just, you know what I saw today? I saw a Joker.
You saw a Joker?
The fucking movie Joker.
Oh, you watched a movie?
I took my oldest to go see it.
Oh, shit. Was it good?
It was fantastic.
Oh.
It was great.
One day I'll have go to the movie money.
Oh, calm down. I took him to go see It Chapter 2 a couple weeks back, and the film fucked up, so they gave us all free passes, so I figured I'd use them again.
Yeah.
And it is a fucking great movie, because it's been a long time since I've identified with a character in a movie, besides like biopics about John Holmes and stuff like that, but so here it's like Joaquin Phoenix, the guy with the hair lip. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
And this takes place in 1981. So it's like the grimy era of the country, so Gotham is New York City kind of thing.
Yeah.
This motherfucker's like a street clown, like a performer. And he's doing like some sign spinning and shit, and bad shit happens. And then one of his friends gives him a gun because he got beat up, and the gun falls out while he's doing a show at a children's hospital, and he gets fucking fired. And then the state cuts the funding to the mental social services things, and he can't go see his social worker anymore and get his medication. And he's slowly it's what we were talking about before we pressed play. He couldn't get ahead. It just kept coming at him. You know what I mean? And he's trying to wrap his mind around this shit. And minus the medication, he starts kind of hallucinating aspects of his life, and then he fucking does some fucked up shit and then finds himself. So I identify with that. So basically what I'm saying is I'm going to end up killing 3 Wall Street bankers on a subway one day, and then it's going to make me happier.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. I didn't even hear what you said, but hell yeah. Yeah, I didn't hear none of that. It must have been one of them pauses in the internet where you broke up and I couldn't fully understand what you said.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But it might come to light when I'm able to actually go see the movie, and then I can picture you in that situation. So.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, I bet. Awesome movie. Sounds great.
It's been a while since I look forward to anything, let alone a picture film.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds something about you enjoying riding on a subway or something one day in your future. But, yeah.
Yeah, killing bankers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, killing it like a banker, like getting a lot of money. Is that
what
you mean?
Yeah, cream, dollar bill.
Okay.
Cream.
Yeah,
cream, protect your neck.
Damn. I don't know. Maybe I look for it I thought about going vegan or something, but hell yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with life goals, I guess.
No, you don't want to go vegan. That is such a roundabout way.
I don't want to go vegan. No, I don't want to go vegan, nigga. No.
Because then you got to tell people you're vegan.
Yeah.
You can't just be a vegan without anybody knowing you are, because there's no power.
I think in a world of zero fucking privacy and shit, people come up with this shit for identity, because motherfuckers don't have anything to themselves, so it's they try and shock value. Humans love shock value, right? And humans love answers, reasons why. And it seemed like a lot of this stuff people cling to because like they don't even know who the fuck they are. So I guess it kind of ties into what you say. You know, it's just I don't know. I think people are searching for themselves. They're so caught up in fucking the world of materialism and cost of living that they don't even know who the fuck they are.
I don't even think for me it's materialism. I just want to pay my rent and not be fucking panicking for 2 more weeks afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the fucking Indians, man. It's like consistency, man, like stability, safety. That's really all people are looking for. They chased herds of buffalo. They knew when the weather was coming. They, kept fresh water and they moved as the food source moved, But people don't want to live in, leather hide fucking tents and, bathe in a creek. So, I mean, each to their own, but I guess there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Dude, holy shit. I was scrolling through my Twitter sphere.
Mm-hmm.
The Vegas shooting.
Mm-hmm.
They just reached a settlement of $800 million with MGM Resorts.
Yeah, I seen something about that the other day. They said that MGM was offering up to $800 million.
Holy shit. I'll take a bullet in the leg to be part of that.
Yeah.
Let's do a little frontier math here.
But why is MGM paying for it?
Because they did not provide reasonable protection against somebody going into one of their rooms, breaking out the window and shooting people. It's just how the world works.
Okay, so storm resistant plate glass window is not acceptable?
No, hell no.
So what you're saying is mental illness or nothing has any validity in the argument.
Well, I don't think mental illness would have 800 million. Each one of those people, 58. I don't know if it goes to the people injured or the families of the dead, but each family would get $13.7 million.
Yeah, so I'm not understanding where MGM is at fault.
Do you remember a couple of years ago the station nightclub fire in Rhode Island with that band Great White?
No, but go ahead with your story.
So it was this nightclub fire at this in a place in Rhode Island. You remember the band Great White? They did Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
No, I have no fucking clue. But go ahead.
Okay, so in the 80s it was popular, and they're playing the show, and the maximum occupancy was like 100 people, but there was like 200 people in there or something like that.
Yeah.
And they had pyrotechnics, which is weird because it's this little fucking nightclub. And so there's a video of it online where you see the fucking curtain behind the band go up in flames. And then people tried to get out, and then, unsurprisingly, all the employees made it out of the building. But people were getting fucking, like, the back door was chained, and there was people fucking stuck in the doorway, and some people at the bottom of the pile drowned. It was terrible. So Budweiser or Bud Light, Bud Light was like a sponsor.
Yeah.
And they got sued and they had to pay because they were part of a venue. They were part of something that said, "Hey, come to this nightclub and get killed."
Okay, but I can kind of get what you're saying there with that argument, right? I mean, the water's murky, it's fucking kind of gray wash, but Bud Light had the pockets, so they were exposed. Whereas
MGM definitely has the pockets.
Listen, hold on. What I'm saying is, going to an overcrowded nightclub with doors chained is slightly different than a person shooting from a fucking resort.
Allegedly.
That I'm not even sure is associated with the fucking resort. All right. It
happened from the resort.
That has no bearing on the resort.
But it happened from the resort.
I've been many hotels and shit, and they've never searched my luggage.
Well, maybe they should. From here on in.
Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe, you fucking, that's the world we live in. Maybe, some of those people in that crowd have beat their fucking wives. Some of those people in that crowd may have been Catholic priests and touched little boys. Maybe, some of the people there have pretended that their kids have allergies to food so they can stand out at school and get special fucking treatment.
Those people should have died first.
Maybe.
Well,
okay.
We can definitively say that because it was a country concert, some people did beat their wives.
Okay, I'm saying, what I'm saying is, there's a whole lot of fucking maybes, and these people, it's a fucking tragedy that, and I'm not saying that when serious wrongs have been committed, that people are not to be held accountable. That's not what I'm arguing for, but it sounds like people jumped on the bandwagon of we're going to point our grief and anger in the direction and hold the wrong people accountable. I don't know where MGM was at fault with that. I don't understand that.
Well, we are a very litigious society. You as well as I know that, like, most of our laws, most protocols, most anything, when you work at a job, any kind of business it's all because their companies are doing what they can to avoid litigation, which is basically unavoidable. Like that Carnival Cruise Line thing where that fucking grandfather held his 18-month-old daughter out one of the porthole windows and then fucking dropped her accidentally, right? And then I read that the fucking lawyer for the family is like, oh, Carnival Cruise Line's going to pay. Bitch, your fucking father was the one that held your fucking daughter out the porthole window for some reason and then dropped her.
Yeah.
But they're probably going to get some fucking money.
Yeah,
and
but that's fucking, that's just, I don't know, man. You hold the right people accountable. That's fucking retarded. I mean, bitch, nigga, you went on a ship and your fucking dementia ate up fucking daddy, held a goddamn baby out a fucking window. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm funny about old people holding babies over floors, much less out a goddamn window.
What? Where else should you hold a baby over?
Maybe old people.
Sandbox.
Maybe old people shouldn't be holding babies.
No, old people should not be doing a lot of things. That brings me to a really good point. Thank you for bringing it up. Old people should live in separate societies. Once you reach a certain age, you get to go to this island. No, go ahead, sir. Please follow the man in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really arguing. Like, I mean, that's what old people tend to do anyway. If they have resources, and if they don't have resources, then they're fucked. But if they have resources, they try and go to a place that's their speed anyway. I mean, look at all the overpriced communities that are popping up, and from what I understand, it's the fastest growing segment of real estate is 55 plus estates.
You know what those are? Those are pre-cemeteries.
They sound like death camps to me.
As they should be. I agree with Logan's Run. Actually, I don't, because you and I'd be dead at this point. But I was back to the Vegas shooting. You know what would be terrible? You know that there was one person. There was one person that was kind of like, I don't really like country, but I heard there's a lot of pussy at these things. That went with a buddy because he's like, hey, I got an extra ticket.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, they're fucking shooting.
Yeah.
Just some poor fucker didn't even want to be there. Was just going there because he was trying to wingman for his buddy, who was probably like a Camp Pendleton Marine.
Well, here's the problem with that, okay? And I can go right wing with this motherfucking shit. Had he been paid attention to our Christian commandments and only been worried about cooter after he was married and had sex to procreate, then none of this would have been an issue for him. So because he was a sinner at heart, this may have happened.
Well, bad things happen when you kick Jesus out your home.
I'm just saying, nigga. I'm just saying.
I don't know, dude. Shit's getting crazier. There was just another fucking shooting in Kansas City.
Damn.
At a bar.
Yeah, I mean, go figure. A place that, when's the last time anybody even talked about fucking Kansas?
It might have been the Missouri part.
Well, Kansas City is actually Missouri, ain't it?
Oh, no, it's Kansas City, Kansas. Oh, God! Even worse, can you imagine getting killed in Kansas?
Kansas?
Oh, man. I think I've been to Kansas. Just driving to Missouri. I don't know.
I don't even know that, Kansas is not even North Dakota. It's one of the places that you absolutely fucking forget about until something like this happens. I mean, but I mean, go figure. I mean, this fucking Helen Keller could have told you this shit would have happened. You know what I'm saying?
That's just a bummer. Like, the only reason it's just like I picture myself in these situations a lot too. I sit there and I go, "What if I was in a bar or I was in a movie theater and some crazy motherfucker came in with a grudge against the world and decided to fucking take me on his suicidal death trip and make me ride shotgun?" I did it today. I walked into the fucking theater and I sat down and I looked at the fucking exit in the back, like right near the screen, and I'm like, how fast can I pull my oldest son over me to shield the bullets, and then throw him over the chairs and then run to the back? Fuck that, man. Like,
God damn.
Cause you or being in a bar and you're drunk.
I don't know, man. See, I don't go to bars, and because there's always somebody that wants to talk sideways to a nigga's old lady or something. You know what I mean? And you crush his fucking windpipe, and then here you are in prison, for defending your relationship and protecting.
Yeah, I've seen Con Air.
Your fucking woman and shit, Yeah, well, yeah, no, that's a real fucking story though. You know what I'm saying, nigga? That's my cornbread, nigga. You know what's in the oven, nigga. You can smell the cooking and shit, nigga. But don't touch my fucking oven, nigga. I'll make you brain
Put
sleep,
down
nigga.
the bunny.
Yeah. We ain't living like that. So, I don't fuck with bars, you know what I'm saying? And the police, I don't know what the fuck they want to have random road stops and shit and search people and shake them down for taillights and shit, saying that they're going to keep the world safer by stopping DUIs. But they, 100 people a night leave a fucking bar fully fucking loaded, somehow make it home. Get fucking real. So, I don't really fuck with the bars. But, one that always played in my mind is how they tried to convince the American public that a couple of fucking Arabs took over a plane with box cutters. There must not have been one masculine male or fucking butch bitch on that fucking plane. Because I'm gonna tell you now, even if you was worried about getting cut, nigga, there's enough fucking luggage you could have rammed that nigga. Or what about the fucking little serving cart, nigga, with like a hot cup of fucking a canister of coffee water or something? I'd have beat that nigga to sleep with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you gonna have to cut me, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Bitch, nigga, you gonna have to cut me.
While I don't disagree, I believe that
the smallest little nigga. If I couldn't have got me a bag of luggage and rammed that nigga with it, I'd have grabbed the littlest nigga around me I could and used
threw him
that
at
nigga
him
like a battering ram. Okay.
Just fucking midget tossing that. No,
Yeah,
I believe.
I'd have looked at one of the educated white men near me and told him to take off his motherfucking belt, and I would have spanked every one of them's asses. I'd have bent over my knee and just blistered them, nigga, lit them up, tore their ass out the frame, nigga. Pow.
I believe what was preventing that, because it happened in the plane that crashed into Pennsylvania. They did.
You
that.
mean the one that the one that they found in, I think, in Ohio, but yeah, or landed in Ohio.
This motherfucker. And anyways, according to the movie.
You mean the little pieces that looked like a Cessna got dropped out the back door of a fucking helicopter, that had no turbines or seats in the crash, but okay, it looked like it was disintegrated with a fucking Tomahawk cruise missile, but go ahead.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, according to the movie, Flight 93, hold on, I'm looking at fucking images of the crash site right now.
I'm just saying, if the bitch nigga, was on the phone and had time to enter his credit card and call his motherfucking old lady and shit and all that, he could have been choking that nigga out with the phone cord. You know what I'm saying?
Wreckage. Bro, that's a fucking full-on plane right there. Okay. That's a full-on. Well, anyways, they were like, fuck these motherfuckers, and they got together and they were like calling and they're like, let's roll, and they did the beverage cart thing.
Yeah.
And they prevented that.
All right, they prevented it somehow. Somehow the fucking the Arab was able to get into the cockpit and whatever and hold the whole plane hostage with a fucking box cutter and all these fucking rawhide ass, fucking Rocky Balboa watching motherfuckers wasn't able to beat them to sleep and used their own box cutter. And
Bro, when I was overseas,
bullshit.
When I was overseas before 9/11,
this is what happens when you emasculate every fucking male in America. Okay,
hold on.
Take over
You're making
with a box cutter. Okay,
you're making like 9 points at the same. Hold on. When I was overseas, I was trying to get Asian pussy, but that was denied to me by the terrorists. And when I came back, you couldn't even take a fucking cab onto the base. You couldn't even get pizza delivered on the base. Things changed. Like prior to 9/11, you could probably, I don't remember, it was so long ago, you could walk up to the cockpit, knock on the door, they'd open it, let kids in, you get little airplane pins. Junior pilot, sit on my butt.
I'm not doubting knock on the fucking door. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the best you could do was make the plane crash. I don't believe any of it, nigga. None. Zero.
You shouldn't.
Okay, none. Not one motherfucking iota of logic or survival. You are not gonna convince me that you're gonna have 100 fucking people. I don't know what the number is, but we're just gonna say 100 people absolutely fucking complicit and complacent in that scenario. It's not gonna happen. Okay, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you got a bunch of 22-year-old fucking college kids whose nuts ain't.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was a whole plane full of fucking kids in skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Listening to fucking, yeah. You getting some updates there?
I'm just saying, fuck a pussy.
Yeah, fuck a pussy.
Fuck a pussy. It's straight the fuck up. Like I don't know, and that's probably when you can still smoke cigarettes. You know what I'm saying?
On the planes?
I don't know. I don't know if you could or not, but I know they still got ashtrays on them bitches. So apparently they had to be in use at some point. You know what I'm saying? I'd have pissed on them niggas, like straight the fuck up, nigga. I would have just straight pissed on them niggas. Like you probably could have pulled out a motherfucking pork hot dog and slapped them niggas in the face with it, and they'd have fucking melted and fell to the ground, nigga, and looked for a mat to crown. You know what I'm saying?
Good luck getting a hot dog on a plane.
I'm just saying, nigga, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna convince me. There's no fucking way. You know what I'm saying? It's not happening. It's not real. It didn't happen. Because somebody on the plane had to have a motherfucking set of nuts, nigga. Like, straight the fuck up, nigga. And you can't cut everybody with a box cutter. You can't cut everybody I'm not talking about, that they fought them a little bit and they're heroes and they crashed in the fucking field and all of them somehow died. That's not, no, nigga. 2-3 niggas on the plane with box cutters are not about to stop it. You're not going to convince me. Even if half the Americans on the plane are fucking the typical modern fucking American who's just fucking a useless mouth breather fucking pussy. Somebody on there who's had they fucking bitch cheat on them, their daddy abuse them, denied a promotion at work, been laid off, something. Somebody's going to be pissed off enough to beat them to fucking sleep. Even if they get cut. Nigga. Because, razor blade's gonna fucking slice you, nigga. But the odds is, unless you you catch them in the thigh or the neck or nothing, them niggas gonna be able to keep going, nigga. Adrenaline's got them, nigga. They got at least a minute and a half in them.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I do believe, just throwing this out there, I do believe that everybody, or at least most people on the plane, were convinced by the charade that they had some kind of incendiary device, and that if they were going to make a move, these wily little sand people were just going to blow up everything.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't agree or disagree.
Fuck, nigga. If you blowing me up, you probably gonna blow me up, and everything I know about terrorism tells me you probably gonna blow me up anyway, nigga, because you're too afraid to stand for the charges, nigga. And somebody in a fucking pretend cave somewhere on a green screen has told you this bullshit, nigga. The CIA did it, nigga. The government did it. They burnt the fucking building down, nigga. They hit the fucking Pentagon with a goddamn missile in the only section of the Pentagon that had been evacuated for construction reasons. All the shit around the front of the fucking building was still there, but yet there wasn't no turbine motors in front of the motherfucker. I watched it on the news when it happened. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A building that gets hit at the top does not fall at free fall speed from the bottom. It don't happen.
I feel you on that one, but hold on. We also have to mention chocolate honeycomb. Why settle for a boring cereal? We can go home with a big chocolate honeycomb, great chocolate taste, and humongous pieces of chocolate honeycomb, part of a balanced breakfast.
Yeah.
Try and get sponsors on there.
All these fucking drones out here, all these fucking sheep. You gonna believe what your Uncle Daddy tells you, fucking pussies.
So I'm in like day 16 of my Facebook ban.
Yeah.
Like, so I haven't been able to use Facey Space, Messenger, or anything like that. And you talking like this makes me miss my favorite conspiracy theorist, Noah.
Oh, yeah?
Well, because he's so nuts deep in this QAnon thing. You know what that is?
I don't know. Yeah, you tell me about it all the time, dude. But honest, I haven't devoted like 1 fucking second of my life to it.
So there's a disturbing percentage of Trump supporters out there who believe that he was initiated by a benevolent cabal of individuals looking to stop worldwide corruption, including elitists and their sex trafficking rings. So that's where like Jeffrey Epstein and all that shit comes in. So all that stuff, he believes is a front for Donald Trump. So there's a large percentage of people that forgive his actions, words, and decorum because they know that there's something bigger than that. So he'll hit me, like I'll be sleeping and I'll wake up to like a bunch of messages. Because if conspiracy theorists, it's like I look at conspiracy theorists like dudes in jail. If anybody's ever sat in jail any amount of time, the dudes that have been in there are extremely what's the word I'm looking for? They're very industrious. Motherfucker, if you've been there's dudes that if they've been in jail for more than a year, they will make a coffee pot out of nothing more than like torn Bible pages and a toilet paper roll. Right?
Yeah, you seen that nigga in Florida that did the fucking secret camera eyeglasses and shit?
I just read that like an hour ago.
Yeah, nigga blew my motherfucking mind. I watched this nigga's video clips and shit, you know what I'm saying? Tripped me the fuck out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, fucking hell yeah to that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Call them niggas out. You know what I'm saying? They so full of shit, these backgate motherfuckers.
But that ain't gonna change. Have you ever like heard the general public's opinion on people? They're like, well, they deserve to be there.
Yeah, the general public is fucking sheep, and that's why you fucking old lady sucking the preacher's dick.
No, the preacher's fucking the daughter, but
the boy, the son,
the boy,
whole family.
the son,
he's
the
fucking
son.
the whole family.
But so you got these industrious people in prison that have nothing but time on their hands to think and create things, and you sit there and you go, if you used just an iota, just a fucking fraction of the energy you put in out on the street, you wouldn't even be in prison.
Well, that's not really true, and I'm gonna tell you why. Look at the environment. So when you take a man's money out of the equation, right, he has opportunity, and that's what I tell him about safety at work and shit, right? So, and it's the same way as truck driving. Like if you want truck drivers to quit pencil whipping the logbook, and you trying to figure out all this fucking bullshit, fucking bureaucracy about it, pay the niggas by the hour a fair wage, and then niggas not gonna lie about his hours. Then you know he's gonna record all stops, all fuel stops, how much time he spent in traffic because that's his money. But in jail, a nigga don't have to worry about his roof, his food, none of that right there. He's in inventive and dreaming and survival mode. So therefore, he's in a situation where he becomes creative and he taps deeper into his mind to appease himself so he don't go fucking crazy.
Are you making a point for UBI?
Yeah, I'm saying that if you're out here in the real world, you know what I mean? Like you're so caught up in fucking starvation and fucking slavery and health care and stupid shit that, you know, motherfucker in this age shouldn't even really have to be stressing. That's why you become a criminal. You know, because, I mean, how long are you going to let your old lady starve? You know, how long are you going to let the motherfucking, government threaten to take your kids? How many times are you going to be evicted from a fucking house? How many times are you going to have to beg for gas money? You know what I'm saying? Like, you.
Well, I got a theory.
I mean, what the fuck are you going to do, nigga? You going to hustle. You going to turn up.
I got a theory about the people that like, have not committed crimes.
And it's people that haven't been caught yet.
Well, that too. They're a separate faction.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is, when I was in the Navy, when we were talking to the Marines, and this was after 9/11, and there was a lot of this was after we picked up Johnny Walker Lynn, the American Taliban. And I remember having a conversation with a bunch of Marines out on the smoke deck, and they were talking about. We were talking about money. Because they were floating around an idea that he was given a bunch of money to do what he did. And then these guys were like, there'd be no amount of money I'd take to fuck over my country. And then I was like, yeah, but that's because nobody's offered you a large amount of money to fuck off your country. Nobody's ever. It's easy to sit there and go, if somebody said, I'm going to give you $10 million to sell out your country, I'd say, fuck no, because I'm all patriot, bro. That's because nobody's ever come to you and sat with you and put $10 million.
I'm gonna give you $10,000 to suck
No,
my
million.
dick and then go home
Yeah,
and
right,
kiss
yeah.
your wife. You know what I'm saying?
So everybody's like, I wouldn't suck
will
that dick,
suck
but
dick.
you haven't seen that 10. If nobody was around, if you're in the corner of a bar, a dark bar, and this dude's like writing it on a pad so nobody can hear you, and he's like, look, I go into my limo, suck my dick, and then I'm going to give you this fucking certified cashier's check for $10,000. You're going to write YES and slide that paper back to him, and you're just going to not tell anybody about it.
Yeah, you're probably gonna take the last swallow of that drink and set it down and
Look him in the eye.
Yourself.
Look him in the eye and be like, and just nod slowly. Yeah, we're doing this. Because then you're going to go home and you're going to pay off all your bills and you're just going to push it to the back of your mind.
Well, motherfucking NASA just released a motherfucking study. Some people at NASA said that people are dumber when they graduate school than they were before they started. So they took children and young kids and then some older people or whatever, and they did an inquisition, I guess, and the motherfuckers were more genius-like at a young age. They were creative. I guess in the propaganda institution that people call public schools, they're dumbed down. Their creative process disappears. The ability to dream disappears, and dreaming is the basis of the creative process. So people were more intelligent before they ever started school. So that was the outcome of the test.
Do you want to take this test so we can do a controlled survey to see if people are stupider when they? Yeah, of course I'll take that.
Yeah.
Also brought to you by Cream Savers, a symphony of chocolate and caramel cream. Standing ovation optional. The next great flavor, creamy, dreamy chocolate, caramel cream. Surrender to the swirl. Sorry, I found this website that has it has commercial transcripts, and so I've always wanted to kind of.
You're probably getting paid and hoarding all the profits, and I'm just not aware of it yet.
Yeah. Yep. Making just all kinds of fucking
with
infinite cash.
Our overseas fan base that we have and stuff.
I think we had one in Iran or something
China.
like that.
We probably got one in China, and the fucking, whatever the fuck his name is, he's probably got somebody in his cabinet listening to us.
Fucking sends me a cashier's check.
Yeah, he's like, this is what the average American really is. Yeah, fuck all that. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, back to the QAnon or whatever the fuck you call it, the Q.
Q Anonymous.
All right, look, so fuck all that, right? President Trump, good, bad, right, or wrong, is what it is. The nigga ran out of simply out of small dick syndrome. He ran for president to prove a point. Obama called him out. He proved he could do it, and he wasn't going to be backseat to nobody. It was a pissing match, and miraculously the motherfucker won.
I don't think it was that miraculous, though.
All that merchandise and shit that he sold, he profited. He turned a profit from it. He's a businessman. And I'm not completely opposed to Trump. I'm opposed to the fact that he wavers on so much stuff, and his policy is little clickbaits and tidbits of American sentiment and stuff that select groups of the population have voiced online, and they broke it down to under analysis, and so therefore he pushed some of these hot button topics that are divisive. And the country in general hasn't made a lot of progress from it, and anything that has been gained is the same thing that's been gained and lost since the 80s. The unemployment is bullshit. The numbers are inflated as they were under Obama, as they were under Bush. They don't give us an accurate fucking transcript of it because they only go from the number of unemployment claims. They don't look at the number of people who have exhausted that or who have never attempted or never qualified for unemployment. They don't look at the number of people who are unqualified or unable to get a job because of education or because of criminal background, or So when people sit and they point the high horse finger that if a man wants a job and he ain't got one, he just don't want to work but whatever. But after filling out 100 applications and niggas telling you no because of your criminal background, I mean, how long before you beat a bitch to sleep and take his wallet? I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Three or 4 weeks is what.
Fuck people. People are disgusting. People are fucking parasites. They're a fucking scourge. I love humans. I hate people.
I'm for war, but against the troops.
There you go.
There you go.
Man, I don't know. I just want a couple million, man, and I want to check out, nigga. I just want to go to somewhere like
Belize.
Somewhere like Belize, nigga. Maybe South America. Somewhere in South America be cool, nigga. Like, I'd be all right with going somewhere like, I don't know, somewhere and starting like a cocaine bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, drug tourism. You know what I mean?
Well, I just watched Kickboxer last night. Remember that movie?
You talking about where the nigga beats the tree with his leg?
Yup. Jean-Claude Van Damme. There was that black guy Taylor that like helped him move his brother to the hospital. You want to be like that dude. You want to be that expatriate that lives in like Thailand, surrounded by all them little brown women.
I'm just saying, man. Like, I'm cool, dude, and I love America. I do, but like, I look at all these people, and I got a lot of people on Facebook. Well, not a lot of people, but I got enough, and they post contradictory stuff, right? So a lot of the people that I know and like, because I agree with a lot of the stuff that they're posting. Like, a lot of it is absolutely right wing. But not modern right wing. Modern right wing is something completely. I don't know. The blue and red, they're both the same at this point. But I believe in capitalism. I don't believe in crony capitalism. I don't believe in bailout. And you're propping up a broken system, and that's why the debt clock won't ever fucking stop. But and so they'll post this awesome shit that I may or may not agree with, and about independence and gun rights, or a man working and providing and all this awesome shit, right? And then they'll post all this shit that's anti-democratic, and about free college and healthcare and this and that, right? And okay, cool. If you don't really understand what's being said, then naturally you're going to disagree with it. But then they'll turn around and, like, I seen a meme the other day, and it was saying about pharmaceutical companies not making medicine available to people and at an affordable rate. So that's a socialist idea as well. You can't confuse and mix and all, and because it's written, so it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. But we are a semi-socialist country. People are just afraid to be aware and admit it. Yeah. So.
Well, you did touch on something there. When I think people are, I think most of all, first and foremost, people are enumerate, which means they don't understand the scope and scale of numbers. But it's just when it comes to saying like socialism in terms of an economy, it's just such a goddamn blanket statement that either side is making that isn't necessarily correct. When somebody says socialism, they start thinking of like like poor socialist countries. A basic definition of socialism is when like it advocates like the means of production to be owned and regulated by the community. Which is far-fetched from the libertarian, like, I don't need anybody to provide for my own, and if I so choose to trade, then so be it. That's very rare in the traditional sense, that somebody's so fucking independent. You may be independently wealthy, you still rely on subsidies, taxes, local police, fuel, shit like that. So you got to be concise when you talk about stuff like that. So now, if you're fucking talking about like local taxes go into a community fund, and then it pays out your police and your fire department and your roads. For example, like I work in garbage, when they do those cleanups, like a couple times a year, that's taken out of taxes. Like that pay the garbage companies to fucking provide the trucks and the bins so people can, park on the side of the street, and they can dump all their shit that they've been saving all year. That comes out of your taxes. And a lot of these guys, since I'm in the area that I'm in, a lot of these are good, God-fearing, guns and God, Trump country, fucking tuck your t-shirt into your jeans motherfuckers. That it's like, okay, but do you realize that your taxes have gone to paying a private company to collect your trash, that you're now lined up on the side of the street at 6 o'clock in the morning waiting to dump your fucking 2 years of vinyl siding? Like, that technically would be the definition of socialism.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So these same motherfuckers, right? Because the wrong person's saying it, or the way they're saying it doesn't.
Mr. President,
right? So go ahead.
No, I was just throwing a Bernie Sanders in there.
All right,
Mr. President.
I'm saying, like Social Security, right? Most people never pay enough into Social Security to cover what they spend of it, even if they do reach that age.
But we don't require. We don't recover as much as we've paid into Social Security, which is bullshit.
The Medicare, aspect and stuff like that. So, those are socialist, projects. But I don't know why people will be okay with corporate subsidies for like GM and then oil companies.
That's all I've ever said.
Whatever the fuck else is going on, and then not want a strong community, not want strong education and better opportunity for their children and healthcare. Because I can be in a circle with these same, fat paycheck getting motherfuckers, talk about how many guns they bought. Like really, like literally had these conversations. I had a conversation with a guy the other day who has, had bought 90 guns. But he'll talk about healthcare and how it's fucked up and it's this and it's that, but never understand anything other than sound bites about healthcare, right? So healthcare is broken up by state lines. So, depending on what state you're in, the cost of it and the coverage of it, even though it's the same company, Blue Cross Blue Shield is like there's 50 fucking states of Blue Cross Blue Shield. Instead of it just being one Blue Cross Blue Shield that covers 50 fucking states. They all fall under different regulations, different rules. It's just fucked. And as far as the education goes, the cost of education is fucking skyrocketed. So there's answers to it. Like, I believe our natural gas and our oil. Yes, I do believe in mineral rights to a person's property. However, I do believe that a lot of that shit gets sucked out of the ground, and the pockets and reservoirs are much bigger than the fucking the scans that they have. I believe it belongs to the American people, and if you allow a multinational corporation to come in and pump that shit out of the ground, then I believe that America should get an automatic fucking a tax on it, a tariff. I don't know what the fuck you would call it, a fucking a cost per barrel or cubic foot or whatever your measurement you want to use. To fund our public projects and education, healthcare, whatever the case may be. So the shit's going to the world market anyway. That's a natural resource that will never be recreated, regenerated, and we're allowing foreign companies to fucking do it. So, and the landowners, even though some of the landowners get a little bit of money from it, they're never getting the value of what that shit's actually worth. So therefore, the country is not prospering in the effect that it should, especially on a global scale. So. There's the answer, in short form to a lot of our basic fucking problems. Instead of borrowing money from China, Japan, and whoever the fuck else has bonds that for our imaginary debt money, because most of these motherfuckers in the world don't even understand that every dollar that they have in their pocket or in their bank account, it's just a dollar of debt that someone else owes. It's not backed by anything other than the idea, and that's how inflation happens. When you overprint more than the idea, and when people lose faith in the idea, the value disappears because there's nothing other than an agreement backing it. So it's fucking amazing.
You talk like a book.
I'm just saying, fuck these niggas.
No, I feel you.
Like,
How
you gonna come to me and complain about healthcare and then someone puts forth an idea or education and your fucking kids, drinking lead fucking water and have fucking, in a bind, and then you want to complain because there's people trying to actually figure. Now I'm not talking about these fucking, half-foreign motherfuckers that have no idea of culture and American economics that was elected to a position that they have no basis or business even being in. But you can't be so goddamn right-wing that you're okay with this fucking bleeding red fucking pretend to be right-wing company that's being propped up on federal subsidies. It's just like, farmers. They're the biggest welfare recipients and crop manipulation candidates that the world has ever seen. The entire agriculture business is propped up by manipulation. I mean, everything traded on the stock market to the plants that the seeds that they plant to the crops that they don't plant. It's cost control.
the you're talking about the Agricultural Adjustment Act.
I'm talking about the communist motherfucking backdoor deals is what I'm talking about. But yeah, you motherfuckers wear Ariats and fucking ostrich skin boots and you're fucking, heartland motherfuckers. No, you're not. You're fucking communists. You're backroom fucking liars and cheaters.
The Agricultural Adjustment Act was part of, who was it? The New Deal? Who did Roosevelt?
Roosevelt?
Yeah, part of Roosevelt's New Deal that was supposed to, like, it was reduce prices, it was supposed to boost the prices by reducing the surplus.
Yeah, it was meant to disappear after the recovery from the Great Depression.
So then they were paying farmers not to produce so they could boost the prices on basic agricultural production.
And then crop insurance and everything else like that. And in the world market, a world trade, very little of that is actually fucking needed. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? The government, like I worked for a man, and he was paid, I don't know, it was well over $1 million a year to plant or to not plant. I mean, they paid for his tractors, they paid for all kind of shit. And this man was a millionaire and didn't even have to plant anything. You know what I'm saying? And then when he did plant something, he had crop insurance. So if the crops failed from rain or no rain or whatever that, he was still paid. Now I'm not knocking the hustle, but what I'm simply saying is, you motherfuckers can't sit back and pretend that you're in some kind of a fucking bind when you're a corporate fucking farm and you own 3,000 fucking acres and 10 silos and a fucking a rail yard attaches to your property.
Well, I'll give you good.
Fuck you, suck a dick. Okay.
I'll give you a good example of a kind of a defeatist situation, and I think I've mentioned this before. So, in my part of the world, my current part of the world, there's a really fuckhole town called Sheboygan, and so there was a lumber company owned by a family, and consequently, this family, the two brothers, also sat on the city council.
Yeah,
because it's a small town, and the business owners should represent the town or whatever bullshit that.
Yeah, the prominent people typically do.
So the city council was also responsible for allowing or issuing or denying permits to businesses that wanted to come into the county. So the two brothers that owned the local lumber company for 3 years in a row denied permits to Lowe's and Home Depot.
Yeah.
Because they owned a lumber company.
They seen it as competition. They should have been arrested.
Which as part of capitalism is that competition is a good thing.
Yeah. It
creates innovation. It's good for the consumer. But these short-sighted, white-ass motherfuckers kept purposely denying the permits, and eventually, long story short, the company went under, the lumber company. A bunch of dudes lost their jobs, and somebody bought them out. And these happy-go-lucky white-bread motherfuckers cashed out and still made good, and they retired. So the family still has... They didn't lose their asses. They didn't wake up one day going, oh, shit, how are we going to pay our rent this month? The community lost.
The community lost.
But what they were doing was technically under the umbrella of capitalism.
No, but it's not. Capitalism is 100% fucking awesome.
But
okay?
that's
it's a
part of
huge
it. That's
experiment that
crony
we committed.
capitalism.
You know, yeah, that's corruption, man. That's not fierce competition. No, that's fucking backdoor deals. That's fucking monopolizing. That's horse shit. You know what I mean?
But it's far more prominent than most regular things. So
this fake propped up version of capitalism, it requires tens of millions of dollars to get in and do business, unless by miraculous intervention, you happen to strike the fucking iron on the right day, and somehow you walk on the Shark Tank and you become super successful. That's not what I'm talking about. Typically with capitalism, I mean, you can come out with it any way, shape, or form and create your product and prosper, or at least compete against the big boys. But in this industry that we have now, corporate America, the sheer volume of legal frame and legwork and fees and permits and approvals and oversight and regulation, it's almost impossible. I mean, unless you want to be a fucking landscaper, I mean, cool. You can be independent, a business owner, go be a landscaper, right? But I mean, you're fucking capped down. I mean, some people in the right parts of the country can become extremely successful with that, and I'm not knocking it. But in the world of corporate fucking welfare and bureaucracy, that's what they want, though. They want just a few conglomerates. They want these huge fucking groups that easy to control and handshakes and fucking backroom deals. And the American people lose out every time, so that's why their healthcare is fucked. That's why their wages are stagnant. That's why the kids don't have opportunity. That's why these fucking towns in the Northeast are dilapidated and falling in, and there's fucking millions of homes that still have lead paint in them. So I mean, but that's okay. I mean, feel good about it and blame the Mexicans. The Mexicans have zero to do with fucking lead paint, and you better thank them little motherfuckers. The reason why you got fresh goddamn tangerines to eat in fucking December, But it don't matter, because your wife's probably still gonna suck one of the little dicks.
I mean, if she's gonna suck off an uncircumcised guy, but that's just neither here nor there. But I agree. It goes back to just people. They want to promote that lifestyle of, like, ultimately, I think when it comes down to money, people are going to look at themselves before anyone else. Put your airbag mask on before you assist other passengers.
Yeah, but they're not grasping the concept that in thinking that they're protecting themselves and thinking they're standing behind the right ideas, right? They don't know the words that's in this bill or this legislature that they're passing. They're fucking ignorant, man. Like, I don't claim to be knowledgeable in it, but I got just enough to get myself in a bind with it. But you can stand behind ideals all you want, but just because a person is on stage, on a podium, saying some of the ideals you stand behind has nothing to do with the legal framework of what they're actually pushing. It's not beneficial to you. Yes, some of the ideas of independence and earning and making your way in sweat and blood and tears and climbing out of the fucking mud and prospering and lifting your family up. But those ideals are dead and gone, because the legal framework is not really there for you to do that unless you have an exorbitant amount of money or someone to help float you or carry you or access to the capital to actually make that jump. It's not like it was in the 1930s when the New Deal came around, where you could actually get out here with your brothers or your buddy and within 5 years be super successful, right? Unless you're extremely educated, you find a niche market, or you somehow network with the right people, you know what I mean? It's really no different. So I mean, the odds is there's not enough money to go around, and it's fucking so hilarious to watch people claim these ideals of independence, and then they beat their own toes off with a fucking hammer the way they vote.
Well, then, similar to what you're talking about is the current thing with the cannabis industry. Yeah. I'm only going to speak on this from my experience.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of growers just in my travels. I've met a lot of large growers. And then there's the issue recently of what they're doing with the vape cartridges. They're saying, oh, there's a lot of guys that are fucking blah, 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 and they're producing these shitty cartridges. And now, especially when it comes down to flower in the cannabis industry, they're saying, well, there's there's a lot of dangerous chemicals going into these things. And I can think of 10 growers right now that I know that can produce more than 20 pounds. That do their shit naturally. Yep. They don't use harsh chemicals. They don't use these fucking outdoor caustic, sprays that keep animals away, that'll eat at your skin. And it's a scare tactic. So for a lot of people that don't know, there's a thing within the cannabis industry that you got to send your crop, and I'm not saying a jar or an ounce of your bud, your crop, your entire fucking crop, to get tested. Yeah. And if the test fails, they have to dispose of all your crop legally. Yeah. So what kind of odds are you playing that somebody's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to send you 30 pounds, that can net me 60 grand. Yeah. With even the slightest possibility that you're going to fucking destroy it. Because your little immunoassay test is going to show it's 0.1006 fucking something, that is not deemed safe for the public. Like, you're not going to have anybody doing that.
No, so, man, it's overregulation out the gate, right? So people are controlled by fear. Now, the vape cartridges, man, I do believe that some of the homemade ones, because there's not a lot of info on vape cartridges, on the actual way to make them. So, a lot of information on the internet is wrong. It's not accurate in any way, shape, or form. So, I think people made some bad vape cartridges and got people sick, and people tried to lie about it when they had to go to the hospital, and that's where all the confusion came from. But people are controlled by fear. They're controlled by ignorance, things that they don't know. So when someone who is in power that they think, all right, and you can elect anyone, okay? You can elect your brother, you can elect a cousin, you can elect the complete fucking failure from high school that don't have common sense that God gave a dirt. So that doesn't make them knowledgeable in what they're talking about. So when you see these people in power on TV and they're talking and they're using the right words or words you don't understand, you assume that they're knowledgeable and that they're telling you right because they're supposed to be. But remember, they're just an elected official. They're not a fucking expert in their field. So people have hidden agendas. I mean, people are self-serving. You talked about it a minute ago. People instantly put the mask on yourself before anyone else. It's the same concept. People have hidden agendas. So whatever the agenda is that they're trying to push, they're going to slant a bias to whatever it is they're telling you. And most of them are full of shit. So, look at the beer industry. Look at, the three stages. In a lot of states, you can't be a producer and a retailer. You have to go through a distributor. It's a monopoly, right? It's set to create. It's set for taxation. They want the Walmarts of the world to own the cannabis industry. The cannabis industry was supposed to be the one thing to help step up and level the playing field, because anybody with a little bit of elbow grease and education could be successful in this. But they price people out of the market. They criminal background them out of the market. Anyone who was knowledgeable, they transferred them into 14-hour fucking $1 an hour jobs, and so it didn't. So yeah, scare tactics, fucking dumbass. I'm not going to send 100 pounds to nobody to fucking reject and burn.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what kind of incentive is that for anyone to risk losing that much money off what they've put into? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because it's some little fucking jackass, right? And because you send this nigga 50 pounds, right, and he's got these bags there, and he opens up one, and he pulls two samples, one from yours, one from the buddies next door. And he's got them sitting on the fucking table. I mean, something as simple as a lab mix-up could fuck your whole crop.
And I've worked in a urine drug testing lab, and that is a very real and distinct possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all he's got to do is not change his fucking gloves and smear some on the fucking, the test or the fucking the petri dish or any of that other shit, and boom, oh, there's some mold or there's some mites or
You know, whatever the fucking case, or maybe he's just in a pissed off mood because he's only making $13 an hour in a fucking sterile environment in a clean room. So, you know, fuck you, fuck him, fuck them all.
So basically, what I think is going to be basically what needs to happen, and I'm gonna give you my defeatist point of view because it will never happen, is you need a small element from every side of the political spectrum to be represented. So I've said it before and I've always said it again. You need each perspective when it comes to like dealing with society. You need the compassion of liberalism. You need the responsibility of conservatism.
Yes.
You need the independence of libertarianism.
Yes.
But you need all of them. You can't predominantly have more than one because it's not how society works.
You can't have a party before country, and that's what we have. We have party before country. We have, for-profit fucking institutions. So, and when we have something as simple as budgets, right? So we give these divisions of our government, these amounts of money, and if they don't spend all that money, next year they don't get as much money. So instead of rewarding saving money and cost effectiveness and not hiring and putting money in the right areas and fiscal conservatism, right, we punish them for it. So therefore they consistently year over year inflate their budgets. And you'll have budget dumps at the end of the year and stuff like the end of the quarter and stuff like that, so that next year they can get their little rider policy for more money.
Yeah, and it's disgusting to watch it happen, and I don't think it's going to get any better. And it's bleeding over into like compassionate, non-political society. Just so I was reading on, it was like on Vox or something like that. People on their Tinder profiles, like Tinder, like swipe left and right trying to find somebody to fuck.
Yeah.
Or, if you're lying to people trying to find somebody to date and fall in love with. People put no Bernie Sanders supporters, no Trump supporters. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's how divisive the world has.
Like, you can't. So before, like 20 years ago, you could be one thing or the other, but it didn't matter. But now it's at the fucking forefront of our personalities.
Yeah, but you can't convince me that our country is two-sided, right? We're definitely not. We are a complete mix, because there's some things that I'm absolutely right-wing on, and there's some things that I'm absolutely fucking extremely liberal on. And I'm extremely independent-minded. So, I identify more as a libertarian than any of it. However, it's not as simple. Politics is not as simple as red or blue. There's no way to do that. And if you solely draw those lines, then you'll never accomplish. You'll never function. Because, who don't want their grandmother to have medicine? Who don't want their wife to have medicine? Who don't want their teenage daughter who's got ovarian cancer to have medicine? Do you want her in the trailer park with some fucking, 20-year-old fucking alcoholic that's got 3 baby mamas and beats her up when he walks home because his S10 had a broken fucking drive shaft and he didn't have any headlights, so the police fucking, seized his vehicle? There's more to it than just saying, God and country. It's not that simple, you know what I mean? And, so I don't know. Each to their own, man. But you can't put your own on the entire country. And I think especially a lot of the right wing guys, I agree with them on a lot of things, especially sovereign independence. But it's not the way it really works. And Trump is not your fucking savior. Trump is one man.
Watch your mouth, sir.
No, I don't. And Bernie Sanders is absolutely fucked now that he had a heart attack. He's
Mr. President, I can still maintain an erection.
Yeah.
He can maintain an erection. I don't know. Well, let's wrap this motherfucker up because it's the whole thing has depressed me. Let's thank our sponsors. Papa John's Pizza. Say aloha to a great taste from Papa John's. Introducing Papa John's barbecue chicken and bacon pizza for their new Hawaiian barbecue chicken with juicy pineapple. Try one of Papa John's new barbecue pizzas for only $10.99. Use the promo code Tommy Buns. Also brought to you by Pediasure. If you're concerned about your child's nutrition, ask a doctor about Pediasure. If you're concerned about your child's health, be an anti-vaxxer because you're fucking retarded. Shout out to Chernobyl Parks and Recreation. Shout out to Lead Paint.
Lead paint. Nigga.
Fucking
Queen
lead
bitch
paint.
Pussy.
Lead
Turn
paint.
again.
Old Queen Bitch Pussy reunion tour. Putting out new streaming services. Thanks again for anybody that listens to this bullshit. We appreciate your time and effort. It's gonna be a long week, so just keep your fucking head down. Try to avoid the police, and remember, no matter what happens, even if your children are sitting there all doe-eyed and they're fucking crying because you're walking away in handcuffs, never, ever go quietly. Peace.